In this tutorial video, I'll be showing you how to set up Tweepy for Python. This is part 1 to a series I'm currently creating on how to create Twitter bots. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out my other social media for updates on the projects I'm currently working on. Alright, so I'm in Twitter on my desktop. This is the account that I'll be using. Now, in your web browser, open a new tab and type in Twitter Developer Portal. I'll leave a link to this site in the description, but if you search it, then click this one. For me, it's at the very top. Chances are that you might need to type in your phone number before you can do anything. So click on add a valid phone number, then here on the right, click add phone number. You then need to type in your Twitter password here and press next. Then you can go ahead and add your phone number. After adding it, click next, then click OK. Twitter will now send a code to your phone which you need to type into this text field here. Once that's done, click verify. You now have a valid phone number added. You can go back to the developer portal and refresh the page. You can now see that we don't have any issues anymore. When you scroll down, you can then fill in this information. With the case, I'll be choosing making a bot. You're most likely doing the same thing, considering that you want to set up Tweepy, so you can also choose making a bot. With this last question, I'll be selecting no. Then click next. Here, you just need to agree to the terms of service and then click submit. On my side, I had to verify my email address first, so if you need to do that as well, just go to your emails and you can confirm your email by clicking the button on the email that Twitter sent you. After verifying your email, you'll be taken to this page where you need to give your app a name. I called mine TutorialBot246. After that, you'll be taken to this page with keys. It's usually a good thing to save these keys because we will be needing them, but we are going to be resetting them later, so we don't need to save them right now. You can go ahead and click on skip to dashboard, then click yes, I saved them. You can click on skip tour, but I accidentally clicked on let's go in the recording. Once you're in the dashboard, you can click on project 1 here, or in your projects and apps, click on project 1 unless it's called something else for you. Once there, click on apply for elevated access. This will give us access to more features on the Twitter API, but we need to apply first. Here on this page, scroll down a bit and select your current coding skill level. I chose some experience and then I clicked next. This next page is quite self-explanatory, but basically you need to fill in all of this information. So I'll be speeding up the video. If you want to, you can read what I typed, but basically just make sure to give Twitter everything they need to know and what you plan on doing with your bot. For this last one, the one about government, I just ticked no at the top right here. After this, you can click on next. You can then review all this information and make sure everything is correct, then click next. We should now be granted elevated access. Now go back to the dashboard and then here on the key button, click it. We now need to click the generate button to generate our access tokens. We still don't need to save them because we'll be resetting them anyway. Then click yes, I saved them. The reason we aren't saving anything now is because we want to set up the bot first. Sometimes when we change settings, we need to regenerate the keys and tokens, and so the old ones won't work anymore. So basically we want to change all the settings first before we save the keys. For example, the access tokens are created with read-only permissions, but if we want to do things such as tweet, like, and stuff like that, then we'll need to set it to other permissions, not just read permissions alone. So to do that, we need to go to the app settings, which you can access from the dashboard by clicking the gear icon. At the bottom here, at authentication, click setup. Then here on this page, you can ignore the OAuth 2, but make sure to enable the OAuth 1. Make sure to select the setting that says read and write. And if you want, you can also select direct message, which would allow you to send direct messages. For the callback and website URL, I just went ahead and typed in some random URLs. I really don't think it matters too much. If you have valid ones which you can put here, feel free to do so. You can then go ahead and click save once that's done. Now we can go ahead and go back to our tokens page. Now we can open a notepad on the side here and we can finally regenerate the API keys. It's important to note that nobody else is allowed to see these tokens, otherwise they can access your Twitter bot. For the sake of the video though, you're allowed to see mine because I'll be deleting it afterwards. Make sure to then save them appropriately so that you know which one is which. After that, you'll need to save the bearer token as well, so regenerate that one as well and save it. Then for the access tokens, regenerate them once again and make sure to then save them as well. After that, make sure everything is saved and that you know which ones are which. If you need to regenerate them again, then feel free to do so. We can now go to our desktop. For this next part, make sure you have Python installed. I have a tutorial linked in the description of this video, or you can click the icon at the top right of the screen. It's a really fast and easy process, and I also show you how to set up Visual Studio Code, which will be the program we use to write all our Python code in. After that, we can now install Tweepy. So open up a command prompt, or on Mac it would be called a terminal. On Windows, you can go to your search bar at the bottom left of the screen and type in CMD, then press enter. This will open command prompt where you need to type the following command: pip install Tweepy double equals 4.9.0. After this, wait for the installation, and then once it's complete, you can close this window. On my desktop, I'll be creating a folder. I'll be calling it Tweepy bot. I'll then open it, make sure that you have file extensions enabled. You can do so by going to view, and then make sure this checkbox is ticked. After that, I'll be creating a new text file. You can call this whatever you want, but make sure you delete the .txt at the end and replace it with .py. This will let your computer know that this is a Python file. After that, you can press enter. I'll now be opening Visual Studio Code, and then I'll be dragging this folder that we just created into Visual Studio Code. On the left here, you'll see the Python file we just created. So just make sure that you've clicked it so that we're now inside of it. On the right here is where the actual code goes. So we can start by importing Tweepy. This gives us access to all features of Tweepy. We can now create 5 variables, namely API key equals 2 quotation marks, secret API key equals 2 quotation marks. We then do the same thing for the bearer token, the access token, and the secret access token. All of these should now represent empty strings. That is, they should be 2 quotation marks. Now, inside of each of the quotation marks, copy and paste the relevant key or token. So for API key, you'll obviously have to paste the API key that you saved earlier. Do the same for each of these. After that, we can connect the bot to the Twitter API. We do this by creating a client to access the API. And then we set this client to be a Tweepy client instance. Inside the brackets, we pass the following arguments in this order. We pass the bearer token first, API key second, then the secret API, then the access token, and then finally the secret access token. This next step isn't essential, but it would help you in case you decide to use some features of the older Tweepy version. So you type auth equals tweepy.oauth1 user handler. You then pass the API key, secret API, access token, then the secret access token. You then create an API object by typing tweepy.api and then passing auth as an argument. Tweepy is now technically fully set up, but we can test our connection and make sure everything works by creating a tweet. We can create a tweet by typing client.createTweet. Inside the brackets, we type text equals 2 quotation marks, then the text that you want to tweet inside of the quotation marks. So for example, I'll be typing hello Twitter. If we now run this code, we'll see that it runs for a really short while and then it will stop. So if we go back to Twitter now and we refresh this page, we can see that the bot made a tweet and it used the text that we specified in the code. In future videos, I'll be showing you how to create various bots, such as like bots and retweet bots, also reply bots. I'll be showing you some more features and things you can do with Tweepy. So please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Also check out my other social media for updates on the projects I'm currently working on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the video helped, and I also hope to see you in the next one.